I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
Integrated production factory of separator. It's first outside of Japan by Asahi Kasei. This is a new journey for Asahi Kasei too. So, おめでとうございます. Congratulations. As ambassador, I look around the world. Then I see the world today is not easy. It's very difficult, complicated, difficult to see the future. Then we know the world could be very dangerous. Then in this situation, we just realize who are our friends, who is our true friend. When those business people do business, they better to do the business with friends. So Asahi Kasei chose a good friend here, Port Colborne, to start their new production of separator. This is a victory of friendship. And also, when I see the world, every country, Japan, Canada, have very seriously committed to the carbon neutral by 2050. When we think of carbon neutral, zero emission vehicle is inevitable. Then for the zero emission vehicle, we have to have the battery. In order to have a good battery, we have to have the good separator. Asahi Kasei is a proud country of Japan, the top company, leading company of the world to produce this indispensable part here in Port Colborne. And so this is not a story about Port Colborne, but story for the entire ecosystem in Ontario, Canada, North America, to the world. So they are making this important component for the zero emission vehicle and others that is contributing to the carbon neutral. So that means people of Port Colborne, together with Asahi Kasei, are going to help the world for the better place of the world to fight against global warming. Then I just realized this is not just this is a great thing for Port Colborne, a great thing for Ontario, great thing of Canada. But for the entire world, this is very important. And also, I would say, this is a new beginning of a new chapter of Canada-Japan friendship relations. So I just want to say once again, congratulations. おめでとうございます。
And to close it off, we're happy to welcome up the Mayor of Port Colborne, Bill Still.
Boy, when we throw a party, it's a good one. Kurosacho, Port Colborne, yokoso. As we wrap up our program this afternoon, I want to extend a personal and heartfelt thank you to Asahi Kasei and its employees for their commitment to this agreement and for helping to bring this project.
How many scandals do you think Trudeau has had? I have another video over here showing how many, and it is a lot. And I think shame needs to be brought back into Canada because he has no shame anymore. And I think it just trickles down to everyone underneath him. And that's what's really frustrating about Trudeau. And as far as an election is concerned, obviously there should have been one a year ago. But do you think it'll really be in October 2025? Because his steam, like all he has to do is smile and for the camera, go on his vacations. There's going to be a new love in his life coming up, probably, because he has to, because he needs to take attention away from himself. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Let's go back to the video.
To Port Colborne and Niagara. Minister Champagne, it was great to hear you talk about our students and staff from Port Colborne High School, my alma mater. That's our future right there. Thanks for coming. As Mayor of Port Colborne, I'm thrilled to welcome Asahi Kasei and to partner with you on this project, which has come together at unprecedented speed, thanks to your diligent efforts and collaboration. To Prime Minister Trudeau and Premier Ford, a sincere thank you to you and your teams, Minister Champagne, Minister Fedeli, to help this transformational project come to fruition. To Chair Bradley and especially the Regional Economic Development Team, thank you for being a part of Team Niagara as we welcome Asai Kasei to our community. To the BMI Group, thank you for your support in building a better community and for your work bringing in additional private partners to this project team. It was said earlier that this is Port Colborne's biggest project, and it is the biggest project to date. And as we were speaking with our friends from Japan earlier, we talked about how the International Nickel Company came to Port Colborne in 1914. They had a height of 3,000 employees. So this is on that scale, actually quite larger than that scale. But you know, it's been that long since we've had an investment in Port Colborne like this. So finally, to Scott Louie and all of our City of Port Colborne staff and council members, to my good friend Paul Ferris, involved with this project, thank you. We could not have done this without your tireless contributions to making our...
I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
community better for decades to come. With that, our program today comes to a close, and I wish you all safe travels as you return home this afternoon. Domo arigato. Thank you very much. Merci.
Nous allons maintenant commencer avec la période de questions. We will now start with the question and answer period. First question goes to Barbara Patrocinio, iPolitics.
Hi, my question is for the Prime Minister. Will Canada follow the U.S. lead and impose tariffs on EVs from China? Thank you.
Obviously, we're watching closely what our closest trading partner in the United States is doing. But let's take a step back here. Canada, over the past number of years, has strategically and deliberately built itself up as one of the #1 places in the world to invest in an EV supply chain. Bloomberg recently ranked us as #1 for lithium-ion battery supply chain. The auto companies of the world and their suppliers are investing in Canada, and it's because we made a deliberate decision to draw in those investments, to partner, to make sure that we have not just good jobs for decades and generations to come, but that we have a growing economy producing some of the net zero solutions that the world is going to need. And part of that is understanding that whether it's democracies in Europe or across the Americas or even in Asia, people need reliable suppliers, reliable partners. The Japanese ambassador was talking about that. The fact that we can rely on friends who are there to look for the win-wins, to create and deliver the ingredients that our net zero economies will need over the coming years and create real prosperity in communities like Port Colborne. This is what we have been doing over the past years, and our focus on that means that we can stand here today in yet another EV supply chain announcement. These are the things we're doing to create a positive alternative in the world, to create opportunities for Canadian workers and companies as the world continues to invest in Canada. This is what we're here celebrating today, and it's great news for Port Colborne, it's great news for Ontario, it's great news for Canada.
Next question.
Good afternoon, I guess now. This message is questions for either the Prime Minister or Minister Champagne. If the Americans get in a trade war, it will involve us likely because of how integrated our systems are. But the best defense, they say, to that is to be self-sufficient. Yet we're 10 to 15 years away from any of these lithium mines or cobalt mines becoming, operational. And that's maybe. Meaning we're beholden to the Chinese products now. Yet with graphite, for example, China now requires government approval for exports. Does that worry you? And is this the right time to pick a...
I know math is not the Conservative Party of Canada's forte.
And the budget will balance itself.
So,
fight.
Well, we know, first of all, and we've seen it, that whether it's the example of Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine that followed up with them weaponizing energy and critical minerals exports to the European Union. There is a need and a desire to have not just efficient supply chains, but resilient supply chains, friendshoring, working together strategically to make sure that no country, particularly a country that has sometimes shown itself to be extremely challenging to the aims of our democracies and our successes, could corner the market on our net zero future. That's why Canada has made investments, and there are lithium mines up and running in Canada, and there continue to be investments in more and in processing facilities as well. We know there is a need to build alternatives here in Canada for the world, and not just in Canada. We're working with places like Australia and Indonesia and Chile on developing those resilient supply chains that are the necessary ingredients into our net zero economies, our net zero future. So we are being very, very strong with a solid offense on creating the resiliency and the support that the world's economy is going to need from a reliable, friendly partner like Canada. This was a deliberate choice by this government 8 years ago to realize that we had an opportunity, even before we...
And is Chrystia Freeland doing a good job? She is the finance minister and the vice president of Canada. And she is the one that just looks like her head is just spinning when she talks. It's always like trying to drag it on, never answer a question. And maybe they should have this I thought they would always do this. When they ask a question, say, do you mind after you finish it, if you give me 5 seconds to say if you answered it or not for our listeners? Because it is so frustrating. Everything is an infomercial with both of them. And that's something that I think needs to be stopped. Maybe the whole Constitution and the human rights and everything needs to be rewritten again after those two are gone, because this is just frustrating what they're doing. Anyway, let's go back to the video.